Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of our official party. Please remain standing for the invocation given by Chaplain Reed.
I invite you to pray with me. Good and loving Lord, this morning we gather under the intense bright light of the distant sun, as well as the much closer yet no less intense watchful eyes of family and friends, to mark the basic military training graduation of the 322nd Training Squadron. These newest airmen and guardians have been instructed in RLA's drill and ceremony and customs and courtesies, and have transformed from civilian recruits into wingmen, leaders, and warriors. The squadron mascot of the 322nd is the eagle, and Lord, as an eagle lays perched from lofty heights, yet is laser focused on what is below, so you care for your creation. Fill each of us with a sense of gratitude for our yesterday, perspective for today, and purpose for tomorrow. Lord, bless these graduates of the 322nd Training Squadron as they prepare to tackle the next chapter in their military journey, that at a time when so many think only of themselves, these men and women here before you may instead resolve to walk in the footsteps of those who have aimed high from ages past, second to none. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Reed. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's Basic Military Training graduation ceremony. We would like to introduce our distinguished guests, beginning with the hosts for today's ceremony. The Commander, Air Force Basic Military Training, Colonel Jeff Pixley, accompanied by his wife, Andrea. The Superintendent, Air Force Basic Military Training, Chief Master Sergeant Leary Gaitan. From the graduating squadron, the Commander and Superintendent, 322nd Training Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Beth Rosario, and Chief Master Sergeant Lorenza Smart. Also in attendance with us today, the Adjutant General, Alaska National Guard, and the Commissioner, Alaska Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, Major General Torrance Sachs. The Vice Commander and Acting Command Chief, 37th Training Wing, Colonel Trey Irick, and Chief Master Sergeant Nicole Hicks. Although time does not permit us to introduce all of our distinguished guests, the 737th Training Group is proud to welcome each of you. We hope you enjoy today's ceremony. Our Commander of Airmen is Master Sergeant Laquana Jenkins, Training Superintendent, 322nd Training Squadron. Colonel Pixley will review today's ceremony.
Sound! Adjutants, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the national anthem.
Padre! Aye! Present! Present! Hold!
Thank you. Please be seated.
And the parade is forward.
Take your vote. Order!
Order!
Cut! Receive the report.
Report! 322nd Train Squadron, all prisoner cavalry, sir! Ma'am, all present or accounted for.
What is the order?
Attention to order! Detail for today! Non-commissioned officer of the day! Technical Sergeant Lindsay! By order of Colonel Wilson! Officers! Post! March!
737th Training Group, United States Air Force, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas. Subject: Commander's Excellence Streamer. The Commander's Excellence Streamer is awarded to the 322nd Training Squadron, Flight 633, for their significant accomplishments demonstrating teamwork, excellence, and esprit de corps during the period of 14 June 2021 through 29 July 2021. Signed, Jeffrey Pixley, Colonel, United States Air Force. gentlemen, the graduating airmen and guardians passing in review today represent a portion of the men and women who will complete basic military training this year. The 737th Training Group provides all recruits the essential military training to become motivated members of the world's greatest air and space forces. The military training instructors are responsible for the indoctrination, development, and discipline of the airmen and guardians. They have dedicated endless hours to ensure all training objectives are met. Today's graduates have proven through academic studies, military training, physical training, and the development of teamwork that they are ready to take their place in the United States Air and Space Forces. Now passing in review. From the 322nd Training Squadron, the Commander of Airmen, led by Master Sergeant Laquana Jenkins, Training Superintendent, hometown, Gulfport, Mississippi. Flight 645, led by Technical Sergeant Brian Harris, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Houston, Montana. Flight 646, led by Master Sergeant Lance Westfall, Military Training Instructor Supervisor, hometown, Greenfield, Missouri. Flight 648, led by Technical Sergeant Raimundo Solis, Military Training Instructor, hometown, La Porte, Texas. Flight 647, led by Technical Sergeant R.C. Craig Carnate Ramo, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Las Vegas, Nevada. PT Excellence Flight 641, led by Technical Sergeant Ricky Dunbar, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Houston, Texas. Flight 644, led by Technical Sergeant Ryan Porter, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Fort Anne, New York. Flight 642, led by Technical Sergeant Derek Sizemore, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Rogers, Arkansas. Flight 643, led by Technical Sergeant Daniel Huntington, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Warner Robins, Georgia. PT Excellence Flight 640, led by Staff Sergeant Dylan O'Neill, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Louisville, Kentucky. Flight 638, led by Staff Sergeant Chad Ozenbaugh, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Battle Creek, Michigan. Flight 639, led by Technical Sergeant Stephen Shorter, Military Training Instructor Trainer, hometown, Mechanicsville, Maryland. Flight 637, led by Technical Sergeant Randall McKee, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Crestview, Florida. Academic Excellence Flight 633, led by Technical Sergeant Harold Snyder, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Panama City, Florida. Flight 634, led by Technical Sergeant Justin King, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Aloha, American Samoa. Flight 635, led by Technical Sergeant Kalen Ramsey, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Charleston, Arkansas. Flight 636, led by Technical Sergeant Alejandro Alba, Military Training Instructor, hometown, Aurora, Colorado. Musical support for this morning's ceremony has been provided by graduating airmen and guardians from the 322nd Training Squadron, performing under the direction of Master Sergeant Miles Hudlow, hometown, Raleigh, North Carolina. These individuals have been hand-selected to perform for today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Master Sergeant Leary Gaitan, the Superintendent, 737th Training Group, will now come forward and say a few words.
Good morning, family and friends. How are we doing today? Hey, y'all acting like you don't want to be here. How are we doing today? Welcome to Air Force Basic Military Training. Before we get started, I would like you to take, if you can, please stand up and let's recognize these young men and women. So please, if you are able, get on your feet. Now, family and friends, I'm going to keep this short because I know all you want to do is to hug their necks and to poke them in the side to see if we've been feeding them right for the last 7.5 weeks. For our graduating airmen and guardians, you are joining a team of professionals dedicated to integrity, service, and excellence. The airman coin you will receive may seem like a simple coin, but it carries with it the history and the heritage of our airmen and guardian. The men and women who have come before you have airlifted troops and supplies into the jungles of Vietnam. They have executed precision airstrikes in the deserts of Iraq and Afghanistan. They've even delivered humanitarian aid to villages in Africa and South America. They have launched missiles and flown satellites, defended airstrips, strengthened partnerships. They have stood on the North Pole, the South Pole, and everywhere in between. Airmen, as we spoke last night, I asked you to do one thing. And I told you last night, all I want you to do is to do the best that you can with what you know. And once you know better, I want you to do better. Airmen and Guardians, I'm going to end with this. I leave you with this. You are joining a team that will look to you to define the character of our Air and Space Force for years to come. We have the utmost faith in you because every time you recite the Airman Creed, you adamantly proclaim that you will not fail. And you know what? We believe you. As your superintendent, I hereby acknowledge your completion of all graduation requirements and have recommended to Colonel Pixley that you receive our coveted Airmen and Guardians coin, which signifies today your transition from trainees to Airmen and Guardian. Congratulations, Airmen and Guardians. Well done. Military training instructors, you may proceed.
At this part of the ceremony, the military training instructors will distribute the Venerable Airman's Coin, and for the first time, distinct Space Force coins to our Space Force graduates. The lore of military coins has many colorful suspected origins. However, a popular story stems from World War I, where American volunteers formed flying squadrons in France during the Great War. One of the volunteers was a wealthy lieutenant who took great pride in his service and had medallions cast in bronze, with his squadron's emblem on them. He gave those medallions to every member of his unit. Not long after, one of the pilots was shot down behind enemy lines and was captured by a German patrol. The German forces confiscated the pilot's possessions except for the pilot's medallion that he wore around his neck. While in confinement in a small French village, the captured pilot took advantage of a nighttime bombardment by the Allies. He donned civilian clothes and escaped after crossing the front lines to safety. He came across a French outpost where he was initially thought to be a saboteur, until he showed them his unit coin. The French forces recognized the unit emblem, and instead of any harsher treatment, he received a bottle of wine. Today, several military units have developed their own coins and specific rules for them. Many organizations give out their unit coins to recognize outstanding performances and achievements. The coins the airmen and space professionals receive today are unique in that they originate here at the gateway to the Air Force and are only given to those who complete this rigorous course of instruction. On one side of the airman's coin, the original emblem of the Air Force resides as envisioned by General Henry Hap Arnold, one of the first military aviators and later commander of the Army Air Forces in World War II. Beneath the emblem, the year 1947, the birth date of the United States Air Force, and around the rim of the coin, the core values of the Air Force: integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Inscribed on the other side of the coin is the newly recognized emblem of the Air Force, a symbol that honors the heritage of our past and represents the promise of our future. The emblem retains the core elements of the Henry Hap Arnold emblem, the Arnold wings, and the star within a circle. The modern effect of the emblem reflects our Air and Space Force today and into the future. Inscribed in a half circle above the contemporary Air Force emblem is the Air Force motto, "Aim high, fly, fight, win." And on the border of the coin, a reminder to all who see this is inscribed, "Awarded on the occasion of becoming an airman in the world's greatest Air Force." The Space Professional coin also has a distinctive design. On one side, it displays the original emblem of the Space Force, the Delta, which was first used by space units in 1961 and honors the heritage of the United States Space Force. Beneath the emblem is the year 2019, the birth date of the United States Space Force. Inscribed on the other side of the coin is the Space Force motto, "Semper Supra," which translates to "always above." This represents the Space Force's role in establishing, maintaining, and preserving our nation's dominance and freedom of operations in the space domain. On the coin's border is a commemorative inscription that reads, "Awarded on the occasion of becoming a charter member of the United States Space Force."
flight commanders, place your flights at attention. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as a sign of unity as our newest airmen and guardians recite the Airman's Creed. I am an American airman. Congratulations, Airmen and Guardians. Now how about that Squadron Pride? Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Flight commanders, place your flights at ease. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Pixley will now come forward and address our newest Airmen and Guardians.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished visitors, and everyone on our live stream. Thank you for joining us today during this important occasion. For those of you joining us online, I know you wish you could be here. And I look forward to the day when these stands are packed full of loved ones here to witness the incredible transformation of our airmen and guardians that they make in such a short time. 7.5 weeks ago, you entrusted us with our nation's most valuable treasure, your sons, daughters, husbands, wives, significant others, and sometimes your moms and dads. They wouldn't have come here without your encouragement, and I know your continued support provided the strength they needed to be successful in completing basic military training and joining the world's greatest air and space forces. I want to take this opportunity to personally thank you for that support and encouragement. But more importantly, thank you for your trust. I can only imagine what it took to put your loved one on a bus or an airplane and send them here in the middle of a global pandemic. It tells me a lot about you and your love of our country. The 673 men and women before you represent the best our country has to offer. This group comes from 49 of our 50 states. The usual suspects, California, Texas, and Florida, are once again at the top of the list for raw numbers of trainees, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Texas may lead the way with 70 airmen, but we should acknowledge Nebraska too. Nebraska sent us 8 trainees, which doesn't sound like much compared to 70, but accounting for population, Nebraska sent us 202% of their fair share. Let's hear it for Nebraska. Those numbers change each week, but here's what doesn't change. The airmen and guardians we graduate represent the United States of America. They bring with them their own backgrounds, histories, individual attitudes, interests, and regional idiosyncrasies. Contrary to popular belief, when they get here, we don't break them down and build them back up. We take the best of what you sent us and we made it better. We build on the foundation that you gave them growing up, what they developed as young adults, as college students, and sometimes as parents. We embrace the diversity that America provides and leverage that to create high-functioning teams of airmen and guardians who not only strive for personal excellence and embrace our core values, but see the best in one another, lift each other up, and see each other as wingmen and teammates for life. but they didn't do that alone. During the passing review, you were introduced to some of their military training instructors. For every one that was introduced, there was at least one more who was instrumental in the development and molding of our graduates. These professionals are handpicked for this important role, leave their Air Force specialties to spend 3 years investing themselves and sacrificing to create the generation of airmen and guardians who will one day replace them and me. Like our trainees, this diverse team comes from across our great country and bring with them the tactical prowess, technical expertise, and professional experience. But the most important thing they bring with them are their leadership skills and dedication as non-commissioned officers and senior non-commissioned officers. I can't think of a more important job in the Air Force than that of a military and training instructor, and every one of them in the formation, in the stands, and back of the squadron still working right now deserve our greatest thanks. Let's hear it for our MTIs. Lieutenant Colonel Rosario, Chief Smart, you've done an outstanding job with these airmen and guardians. Today, a new chapter in the proud history of the 322nd Training Squadron is written with pride, character, and excellence. Well done. It is now my great honor to recognize basic military training's most outstanding performer, someone who demonstrated their ability to successfully navigate all assessments, testing, their physical abilities, academic aptitude, and adaptability to the military environment through multiple rigorous progress checks. This airman has surpassed all others in the challenges of training and has earned the distinction of being the top graduate of this class. The top graduate is from Flight 634, Airman Carson A. Sneller. The recruiter for Airman Sneller is Tech Sergeant Cody Black from the 347th Recruiting Squadron, 115th Fighter Wing, Truax Field, Air National Guard Base, Madison, Wisconsin. Congratulations. Graduates, I just have one question for you. Are you ready to join the ranks of the world's greatest air and space forces? Let's do it.
Flight commanders, place your flights at attention. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Colonel Pixley will now administer the oath of enlistment.
Please raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will obey the orders of the President of the United States. And the orders of the officers appointed over me. According to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. It is my great honor to introduce our nation's newest airman and guardian. Congratulations and welcome the world's greatest air and space forces.
Thank you, Colonel Pixley. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singing of the Air Force song, followed by the departure of the official party. Congratulations, Airmen and Guardians, on achieving this historic milestone that marks the beginning of your career. Flight commanders, dismiss your flights. Please be careful while exiting the bleachers. For your safety, we ask that you refrain from running onto the retreat pad.